Hello, everyone, and welcome to the United States Patent and Trademark Office Search Week. Today, we're discussing field tag searching. My name is Marisa Terrell, and I'm an attorney working in the Trademark's Customer Outreach Office. Now, before we get started, I want to give you a few announcements. Today's session is being recorded, and I'll be referencing a number of slides throughout the presentation. Now, if you registered for the webinar via Eventbrite, you should have already received an email from Eventbrite with a copy of the slides and a copy of a terrific handout with loads of practice tips. If you haven't received them, don't worry. The slide deck and the handout will also be emailed to you via Eventbrite today around, I'd say, 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also find a link to the slides and a handout in the chat window. And where is this chat window? Well, you can find the chat window at the bottom right of the screen. And a quick tip about our chat box, any hyperlinks that you find in there today are going to be live, so you should be able to click on them to access any information. Now, we want to hear from you. So if you have any questions, go ahead and submit your questions via the Q&A window. You can find that Q&A window at the bottom right, and if you don't see it, look for 3 dots. Click on the dots to access the Q&A window. Now, if you want to see a list of all the questions that you submitted during the presentation, simply look at the top of the Q&A window, and you'll see a tab that says My Q&A. If you click there, you'll see a list of all your questions in one convenient place. And if you find the chatter in that Q&A window to be somewhat distracting, please feel free to close it out. You'll also notice that there is captioning today. It's available, and you can access it in 2 ways. Check the chat box for a live link, or you can also click on the closed captioning icon. You'll see a text bubble with a CC, letter CC in it on the bottom left. Now, we've got several experts with us today to assist with your questions. We have my colleague, attorney Christina Calloway. Christina works with me in the Trademark's Customer Outreach Office, and we're also joined by my manager, Jason Lott. Jason serves as the managing attorney for the Trademark's Customer Outreach Office. That's it for my announcements. Today's presentation is on federal trademark searching. But before we start, again, let me just take a pause to share some other information with you, a couple of disclaimers. Please be advised that this training session is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. Since our session is only about an hour, our presentation does not include all aspects of trademark searching. In fact, today we plan to cover really just general concepts and search mechanics. Our goal is to provide you with practical tips on field tag searching using our search system. Okay. Today's presentation is going to be geared towards our new users and those interested in conducting more advanced searches. We're going to cover a brief overview of the search system fundamentals. We're going to discuss how to conduct a field tag search, including using wildcards and logical operators, and learn how to conduct combined line searching. And finally, we're going to provide you with a few takeaways, some shortcuts, and helpful resources. Let's get started. At this point, I'm going to invite you to join me as I try to do a live demonstration, okay? So go ahead and open up your laptops or your mobile devices, and let's kind of get in here together and see if we can't navigate through our system. You want to go straight to USPTO.gov. That's where you'll start. And if you're looking at our main screen, okay, this is our main intro page, you're going to follow that gray bar at the top all the way over to the right side. You'll pass the wording patents, trademarks, IP policy, learning and resources, and we're going to land on find it fast. If you hover on that blue box, you're going to see 2 columns. We're going to stay with trademarks today. You're going to hover over trademarks and then click on trademark search. That's going to take you straight to our search system, okay? But I want to try to show you a more scenic route, all right? The reason why I'm doing this is because I really want to draw your attention to some of our resources. So let's go back one and start again. Back on our intro page, we're going to find another way to access our search system. And doing it this way, we'll see some additional resources. So again, following that gray bar at the top of the screen, patents, trademarks. We hit trademarks and we stop right there. We look over to see two columns, getting started and application process. Let's go ahead and hover over the application process and click on down to the first option there underneath, search our trademark database. Click on that hyperlink wording. That's going to take us to another page. This is a great page to be because if you scroll on down, you can see a tile that says trademark searching, webinar recording. And if you click on that, scroll down on this page, finally we arrived at our destination. I wanted to show you these videos here, right here, okay? You see 3 different videos here, getting started, field tag searching, which is what we're doing today, and then field tag searching with regular expression. Also notice there's some wording below each of the videos. That's going to take you to a cheat sheet, a helpful takeaway that will provide you with some wonderful examples, sample searching, and other just great information. I'd recommend printing it out and placing it right next to your keyboard, okay? That way you won't have to memorize any of this information. But if you don't have a moment to do that, you can always look at the Help tab on or in the search system. Let's go back to where we were. We're going to go back. One. Is it going to let me? Nope. Let's go back up to the top. We'll go to trademarks and we'll go open up our search database. We're going to open up and jump right into our search system. Now, the most important tool, of course, in our search system is the Help tab. I don't think I can say that enough. But even if you don't have it, you can always get access to our information. And today, that information is going to be included in our chat window. You should be able to access that right now. Okay, so there are 2 ways to use the search system. We have drop-down options that are here. Okay. They're under this general search, starts the drop down. And we also have more advanced searching with field tags. Okay, you see that option here. It's the last option on this drop down menu. There are 2 ways to adjust your system. You can search using basic mode and expert mode. You'll find those boxes on the right side of that magnifying glass next to the search bar. And the basic mode is going to give you some drop down options. It'll give you an ability to filter some of your search results. You'll be able to conduct a search of a single term, okay? It provides you with baseline functionality. But the expert mode is where we're going to stay today. That's where we're going to focus our attention. The expert mode provides upgraded options. I'm going to show you these options next. Let's do a demo so that I can demonstrate all that the expert mode option can do, okay? So let's do a hypothetical. Let's conduct a search of a hypothetical, a term, quantum. All right, this is a perfect search to do in expert mode. Okay, so I'll toggle over and turn on my expert mode. And I'm going to make sure that I'm selecting the correct drop-down option. So I'm going to select word mark. Now, if you want more information about some of these drop-downs, all you have to do is go back and listen to our getting started video, and you'll find some more information there. So here I am with word mark, and I'm going to simply type in the mark quantum. Notice first off that my search term quantum is in lowercase letters. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and search by hitting my magnifying glass option here. And here we go. I got 3,320 results. Fantastic. Which you'll notice that now that I'm in expert mode, I have 2 additional drop-down options. Here they pop up, design code and design description. Those are pretty cool. Please listen to our earlier video and you'll be able to learn all about those options. What are some of the other things you can do in expert mode? Well, let's look to the left side. Notice again that we've got 3,320 results. Now, what if I wanted to only look at live results? What if I wanted to narrow just a bit so that I only see live marks in my search results? Well, I can simply go over to the left where it says status filter, and I can uncheck the box that says dead. Now I'm seeing live marks, registered marks, and pending marks. And notice my results have dropped down from 3,300 or so to 1,200 or so. That's not bad, okay? What else can I do? Well, I can also narrow by classification. Now, let's pause here and kind of talk about this a moment. If I have too many search results, and I want to think of a way that I might be able to narrow them so that I can easily look at them, because sometimes when you have a high number of results, it's difficult to look at each one. So in this instance, one way to filter is to use the coordinated class option. Now, what's a coordinated class? Well, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, it basically classifies every good and service in numerical classifications 1 to 45. Now, some of the classifications are considered related, more related than others. In this instance, if my term quantum was being used to identify t-shirts, and t-shirts are in class 25, if I make sure that my button here is toggled on to coordinated class, all I'd have to do is put in the classification I know my goods and services fall in this case, class 25, I would simply check that box and look what happens. It's almost like magic. What happens here, the algorithm is telling the system that I'm looking also for coordinated classes. These are classes that the system believes are related. So in this instance, if I'm thinking of applying for a registration for using quantum for use in identifying t-shirts in class 25, I might also want to see marks that are related that might fall in class 14, that's jewelry, or might fall in class 18 for handbags, or maybe 24 for fabrics. Are you sort of understanding what I'm saying? What I mean here is that if you select some of these coordinated classes, well, it kind of does some of the work for you. And that's a good thing too. But what if I only wanted to look at one class at a time, meaning I did not want the system to think for me? I didn't want it to select additional classifications for me. All I'd have to do is turn this coordinated class feature off, okay? And then all of a sudden, I could look only at class 25. So I would only see results where the mark is being used to identify goods in class 25 only. I'll caution you though, you might want to avoid doing that because it really does limit your results. All right, so let's go back and we'll turn back on our coordinated class and now we have 393 results here. Let's look at some of the other features that we have. There are lots of ways to view your results, okay, when you're looking at your listing of results here. If we look from left to right, we see the 393 results, and our eye follows all the way over to the right side, and we see 3 different boxes. These options will allow you to view your results in different ways. The first option is going to let you see your results in a tile formation, just like I have right here. You can see 50 marks at a time. I could move over to the next, and I'll see my results in a list. And next, I could see them as a compressed list. Another interesting thing to note about our system here, let me go back over to Tile. If I was to click into each one of these results, I would be navigating to a special page, the TSDR, which is our Trademark Status and Document Retrieval System. If I navigate there, I will be able to see additional information about that record. I can see under Documents, that tab, every bit of correspondence that was submitted, every bit of correspondence that the USPTO issued, and every bit of correspondence that the owner submitted. I can see it all there. I can even see maintenance information, when the next maintenance documents are due, right? Fascinating. Okay. What I want to show you, though, is if I go back to my tiles, what you'll notice is that any marks that I've viewed, that I've clicked through to see the TSDR or additional information, the system is going to mark with a blue vertical line. Do you see that to the left side of this mark? Quantum decisions. You see that blue marker? Now that's brand new. That's thanks to the wonderful feedback that we're getting from folks who are asking for additional features for the system. And so as of June 10th, we have this special marker. Another thing I want to show you is that we have had some of our users indicate that they would really prefer a summary page instead of a TSDR, sort of navigating to TSDR when they click into their records. This was something that the older system did beautifully. And so we wanted to duplicate that same functionality. And so this is how you would access a summary page. First thing you want to do is make sure that you're logged in to your myuspto.gov account. Okay, now I happen to be logged into mine, and so I'm going to show you quickly what that looks like. So here is my USPTO.gov account. I took my time, I took 20 minutes, and I went through the verification process, and now I'm able to look at a dashboard to show all of my marks that I might have applied for or registered, and I can also see some other information, some news and alerts, etc. But what I want to draw your attention to is that you can actually click on trademarks. We're looking at this top black bar at the top of the screen. First word is patents. The next word is trademarks. We're going to click right there, and we're going to go to search. Now, if I was to go ahead and put in the word quantum in expert mode, looking at the word mark field, what happens? I go straight to this option here, okay? And let me show you what happens if I click into it. Is it going to take me to the TSDR? Let's see. Actually, it takes me to a nice summary page. You see how nice that is? You can actually copy and paste this into a Word document and share it with your colleagues. This feature is only available if you take the time to log into your myuspto.gov account and then access our search system. All right, let's go back to where we were. The next thing I want to show you, well, let's see now. We've done everything except for export our results. So let's try doing that. If we wanted to export, say we wanted to share our results with someone, a colleague, a client, whoever, what I could do is click on export, and I can tell the system that I want to see all the results on this page, or the first 500 results, or only my tag results or my search history, okay? This is a feature of the expert mode. So if I want to click on the results on the page as an option, the system will pull up a Excel document. And if I click on that, and the system is going to cooperate with me today, I know it. Let's try one more time. Come on. Alas, it doesn't want to open. Let me see. Oh, look, it's thinking, I think. I got an hourglass there. Well, it's not going to open. Maybe because I have everything open on my monitor. But I will tell you that, oh, there it is, finally. Look at that. All right. So here, what it shows you is an Excel spreadsheet, okay? And this is how your search results will appear when you export them. What's so interesting about this interface is that you can, of course, like any Excel document, you can modify the way you view the information by deleting out certain columns or certain rows. And you can see that all of the headings correspond to the information in our system. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Oh, look, it opened up two of them. Okay. So now we have walked through the process for searching one exact batch term at a time in one field. Okay, so that's progress. But what if you want to conduct an exact match search for a phrase with multiple terms? You might think that you could just drop two terms into the search bar and get accurate results, or you might think that you could drop multiple terms into the search bar with quotation marks and get accurate results. But unfortunately, you cannot accurately conduct a multiple term search in BASIC or in Expert without using something new called a field tag. Now, let me show you an example, okay? Just before we kind of go back to our slide deck and sort of walk through the process, let me see if I can show you. So I'm going to reset resetting everything. That means I scroll down on the left side to the filter options. Below that is a box that says reset, and I'm going to reset everything. All right. And now I am going to go ahead and try to search two terms. I'm going to drop in quantum leap. That's going to be the sort of two terms we're going to search today. Quantum leap, I'm in the expert mode, and I'm going to search in the word mark field. Look how many results I get. 3,937 hits. Is that accurate? Let's see. Let's try one more different way to see it. We're going to add our quotation marks here. Now notice I'm using straight quotations. I'm not using those little curly quotation marks. The system does not read curly quotation marks at all. It doesn't read them well. We want to make sure that you're always using your straight quotation marks. So if you're in your mobile phone or a mobile device, be sure that you have made the adjustment so that it will show the straight quotation marks in the system. Okay, so I've added my quotation marks and I'm going to hit the magnifying glass. I still get the same results. Is this accurate? This is what you have to ask yourself. Let me show you something new. Truly, if you're in the expert mode, the best way to search for multiple terms is to use field tags. And so let me give you a demonstration. When you use field tags, we're going to delete out this wording in the search bar. We're going to go down to our drop-down options again, and this time we're going to select field tags. We're going to make sure that we're toggled on to expert, and we're going to use a field tag. Just like our other system, the previous system, we have to use field tags to tell the system where we want to search for a specific term. In this instance, I'm using CM colon, and that means the combined mark field. So I do CM colon, I put in the word quantum, and I'm going to use a logical operator telling the system I want two words, so quantum and something else. Using my field tag again, CM colon, adding that second word, leap, and let's see what happens. Suspense. I'm searching now and I got 106 results. Now that is sobering, is it not? This is showing us that if you want to search for more than one term, the best way to do it is to use a field tag. So let me try to show you. You can even use the field tag with those quotation marks. So if I delete out the and CM colon leap and just did CM colon quotation quantum space leap, do I get the same thing? Let's see. I get this something similar 103 because we're narrowing it a bit because we're telling the system we only want to see that particular phrase, quantum space leap, and that's what we're getting. So I think hopefully I have proved the hypothesis that it is better to search to search for multiple terms using field tags, okay? Let's jump back to our slide deck. We're going to pick up on slide 11. We're going to jump to slide 11 and we're going to go into our field tag searching so that we can navigate and see slowly how to use field tags. Field tag searching, the best way to search multiple terms and the best way to combine search lines. Let's learn how to use them together. Big picture. How do you construct a field tag search? Well, first thing you want to do is you want to use a field tag and make sure you use it before, place it in front of your search term. If you look to the bottom of the slide, you can see an example. Here the field tag is CM and it is coming before the search term, which is trademark. All right. Next, you want to be sure that your field tag is in all capital letters. It has to be in all capital letters. And it's going to be followed by a colon. This is important. This is part of the language for the algorithm to tell the system what you want it to do. Next, we want to make sure that our search term is in lowercase lettering. Notice that the word trademark here is in lowercase lettering. This is the best way to use it. Now, for our friends who are used to the old system, you're going to notice some similarities. Let's drill down even more. Before we go any further, though, let's define our terms. What is the difference between a search field and a field tag? What are search fields? They are database categories. Now, in our database, search data is stored in distinct fields. If you're used to our old system, you will recognize the search fields that we're using today. One example of a search field would be goods and services. That's one we're quite familiar with. So what's a field tag? A field tag is simply an abbreviation of the search field. An example, an abbreviation of the goods and services search field, I bet you can guess what it is, GS. And we're going to be sure to use that colon after the GS. You can find a list of common field tags on page 1 of today's handout and also in the Help tab. Check the chat box for links right now. So how do field tags work in the new search system? Field tags, we're going to go over the rules again just to make sure you're following along with me. Field tags must appear in front of the search statement. You must use capital letters followed by a colon. You must type your search term in lowercase letters. Here's an example. What do you think this phrase or this sort of search strategy is telling the system? It's telling the system to look for the wording shoes in the disclaimer field. And what about this one? This statement is telling the system to look for the wording supplemental in the register field. Here are some more examples of common field tags. Find them on page 16 of this slide deck and on page 1 and 2 of the handout. And also, of course, the Advanced tab. I'm pausing so you can soak it all in. All right, let's move on. One of the most popular field tags is the CM field tag. Now, if you're used to the older system, this is the equivalent of the combined mark, or the combined mark field tag, okay? When you search using CM, you are searching multiple fields at once, okay? So you're already getting more bang for your buck. You're searching the word mark field, the pseudo mark field, the translation field, and the transliteration field all at the same time. Now, you might be wondering what in the world is a pseudo mark field? Well, for some words, the USPTO has added a pseudo mark to the search data to help users identify marks relevant to their search term. In other words, if an owner submits an application seeking to register a term that is intentionally misspelled, our staff is going to flag it and they are going to add the correct spelling to the pseudo mark field. Pseudo marks provide an additional search tool for locating marks that contain an intentionally altered spelling of a normal English word. But please, here's a hint. Do not rely on our staff to create a pseudo mark for every misspelled term. Do your best to conduct a search designed to find exact matches and also marks that are considered phonetic equivalents. If you want to narrow your search to show only live marks or dead marks, consider using the LD field tag. Now, when you use the LD field tag, you can find either active or inactive cases. Let me show you how that would look in a search strategy. If you want to narrow your search to view only live applications and registrations, you would use this wording, LD colon. That would be your field tag with the colon followed by the wording true, and that will find or to identify live applications and live registrations. That's how you would view them. You could do LD colon false if you want to view dead applications and registrations. You would simply add that to your search string, and that will help you to narrow your search results. You can also use the coordinated class field or the CC field tag if you want to link classes with goods and or services that are often considered related. Now, we talked about that a moment ago, and we noticed that there were some left-hand filtering options that were available to us when we were in expert mode. But let me give you a tip. Once you start down the road of using a field tag, well, you've got to continue moving forward using field tags. And so you cannot use those filtering options when you've started with the field tag wording, okay? So in this instance, here, notice that we're using a 3-digit class number with our CC coordinated class field tag, okay? Here, if we add CC, 030, we're telling the system to look at class 30, but also look at other coordinated classes. And again, if you want more information about what a coordinated class is and you want to see all the coordinated classes in one place in a PDF document, go straight to our glossary, click on coordinated class, and you'll be able to navigate to a PDF document and you'll be able to see that information there. You're going to use this CC field tag to narrow your search results without overly limiting them. Okay, it's a wonderful way to filter. If you're looking for marks in an identified class, just one class at a time, use that IC field tag. The IC stands for International Class. Notice again that we're using a 3-digit class number. The IC field is helpful for filtering your searches, just like the coordinating class or CC field is helpful. But I will caution you to use this option carefully. When you limit by international class, you might not return all the related results that you're looking for, okay? Because it's going to narrow to only one specific class, okay? So be very careful using that option. Now here's one more field tag called the DC for design code. So if you're searching a mark that contains a design element, you can use this field tag with a 6-digit design code. Notice that you can search with or without the periods. For example, if you look to the table here, you can see that these are all different ways to search for foxes. This is the design code for foxes, 03, 01, 11. Note that you can also include in parentheses, you see that third option on the table, you can also annotate your search using parentheses. This is just in case you conduct a search and you dropped in a design code, but maybe you don't remember it if you come back to that search a couple days later. You can go ahead and feel free to put in some wording next to your design code so that you can remember what that design code stands for. Don't worry about the system trying to pick that up. It's only reading numbers, okay? Also notice the last option here. We are adding something new. Can you tell what that is? We've added a star or an asterisk. That is truncation. And when we add a star to 4 digits, we're telling the system that we're actually looking for other characters to the right of those 4 digits. So here, that star is going to pick up some additional numbers. It's going to pick up 030101 for lions, or 030104 for domestic cats, or even 030125 for costumed dogs. Okay? You can find more information about what these numbers mean in our design code, and you can look at the Getting Started video for more information on how to search design codes and images that are part of your mark. In this next section, we're going to really dive in and discuss truncation and wildcards. Let's go. What are wildcards? Wildcards are characters that allow you to efficiently search for variations of a mark. Now today I'm going to show you 2 of our most common wildcards. Here we have one example of the question mark. Use this to return one character, some mystery character. You can use that question mark to find it. You can use the asterisk to return an infinite number of characters. And interestingly enough, you can use both of these options, the question mark or the asterisk, both internally and externally. But don't try to use them with quotations. It won't work properly. Let's look at some examples of internal truncation. Internal truncation allows you to search for additional letters inside a mark. Okay, let's talk about some examples. I'll show you some right now. First example, we have CM colon HA question mark INESS. This search strategy is telling the system to look for the wording here that's listed, but it's telling the system that it can replace that third option with any character, okay? So it could return haziness with a HAZ or happiness with one P, But notice it's not going to pick up the proper spelling of happiness because the question mark only reveals one letter. Okay, it's only one mystery letter. All right. If we use the asterisk, however, now that's going to return more letters, an infinite number of letters, okay? So CM:HA asterisk INESS returns haziness. See, there's a Z there. Happiness with one P, happiness with two P's, happiness with 17 P's, okay? That's what you would find using that internal truncation, that asterisk symbol. What about external truncation? Let's see how that works. External truncation allows you to search for additional letters outside of a mark. Here's some examples. If we went and added the question mark on either end of the wording APPINES, we would find that the system would pick up happiness. It would be replacing that question mark with a mystery letter. It will be looking through all the characters and running through all of them, so you'll get a lot of different search results. But one of the results you'll get will be happiness with an H in front or another S at the end. What if we put the asterisk on the end? What happens then? Well, I guess you probably guessed it. Okay, we put that asterisk on the end and you're going to return an infinite number of characters on either end. Happiness, happiness with a T, or rappiness. Okay, all of these things. We've talked about using truncation with design codes a moment ago, and so maybe now that makes even more sense with this explanation. Let's keep going. Basic operators and groupings. Now, at the beginning of the presentation, I mentioned some of the benefits of searching with field tags in expert mode. One of those benefits is that you can easily search multiple terms and search statements. But we use operators and groupings to conduct these types of searches. Operators connect two or more search terms or statements. Let's go over some of the rules. First of all, those operators must be in all capital letters. Now, to help you remember this, you can kind of think of hearing yourself yelling this out. And, okay, or, and not. They have to be in uppercase lettering, always. You can group terms or statements together using parentheses. Here's some rules for that. Inside the parentheses, a space is going to be treated as an or. And just like algebra, the information in the parentheses is going to be performed first. This slide right here shows you some common operators with a few examples. So let's take a minute and look at this together. Let's look at it slowly. Let's look at the example of using the operator and. If we look over to the example column, you can see that this statement is telling the system to look for dog. Notice it's truncated, so we could be picking up doggy, doggies, okay? Dog pound, if that was no space in between, it would pick all of that up because we've got stars on either end. We're looking for a truncated wording of dog in the combined mark field, and we want food to be in the disclaimer field. If we're looking at or the use of the space, how would we see that? Let's look at some examples together. Here, in this example, we were telling the system we want to look at class 9 in the international class field or class 16 international class field, okay? And again, if you didn't want to write out or, you can use the parentheses and use a space instead. This strategy is telling the system we want hip or hop in the combined mark field, which we know consists of the word mark, translation, transliteration, and that pseudo mark, okay? Notice that hip and hop are both truncated. So you're going to pick up characters on either ends of those words. And not. That's not one we've talked about, but we can use it just as it sounds, okay? Just like it looks, the meaning is the same here. So we're looking for toy in the goods or services field. Notice toy has one truncation on the end, so it could be toys, plural. But we're not looking for pet, okay? So we're looking for toy in goods and services, but we don't want pet. So maybe we're going to find children's toys, not pet toys. And then finally, want to show you an example of the use of the parentheses. This is telling the system to look for class 9 or the certification classes of A or B or the collective membership class 200. That's how I'm looking. So I'm looking at class 9, class A, class B, class 200. I'm looking at ors in between because we have a space. We can also tell the system here, noting that we do the parentheses information first. We're telling the system to do a combination of lines 1 and 2. And then once it does that, or 4. Okay, great. Let's keep moving. We're going to now go back to our demo. All right, what I want to show you now that I've kind of taken you all the way through searching for two terms using field tags, let me see if I can actually give you a even more streamlined approach to do that same search. I want to show you a new feature, and this is our search builder feature. If you're in your deck, we're gonna stay right here with the demo. I want to show you this demo. This is what I want to see. Okay, so if we're wanting to kind of show you how to really use this search builder option, let's see if we can figure that out together. Okay, this is a new feature. So I'm going to clear out. I'm going to reset my system because I want to start from scratch. All right. I'm going to be looking at the word quantum leap again, but this time I'm going to use the search builder tool instead of using the field tag, sort of the long way approach. How do I do that? I'm going to make sure that I am in expert mode and I've selected the field tag option. What you see is in the blue box, field tag and search builder. Below that, you see search builder as an option. Great. Let's click on that. And we get some options here. The first thing you want to tell the system is a field. What field do you want to search? Remember, we're looking up quantum leap in the combined mark field. Okay, so I will put my cursor on the search bar and I'll begin to type combined mark and I will get the option. I'll select the combined mark field. And now I'm going to put in quantum, lowercase lettering, okay? And then I'm going to slide over to the right where it says build with that plus sign, and I'm going to select that. Did you see what happened? That search strategy popped up into the search field. But I'm not done. What if I also want to go ahead and add another term to this? Okay. I've got and selected, but I could also select or, but I want to keep and I'm going to now search the word leap again in the combined mark field. So I will type in combined mark a bit, or I could also put CM. Then I would select the combined mark option. And now I'm going to type in leap right there. Okay. I'm going to spell it correctly, L-E-A-P, and I'm going to hit build again. And did you see what happened? It popped up. I could go ahead and stop right now and conduct a search. Okay. I could do that. And all I would do is I would just go ahead and I would hit my magnifying glass. And you see what it did? It gave us the accurate results of 106 results. Now, what if I wanted to narrow further? Maybe I want to narrow by adding the command to tell the system that I only want to see live marks. I can use the search builder to do that too. I will keep the and listed here, and I'll go ahead and type in live. And I see live dead indicator pops up as an option. I'll select that. And then look what happens. The system resets and gives me an option of selecting live or dead. I want to see live, so I'll keep that option highlighted. And then I'll hit build again. Now it has added to my search strategy the wording and LD:true, which is the right way to tell the system to search for a live mark. We just went through that together. Now I'm going to hit the magnifying glass. I'm at 106 results. What happens? Oh, it drops down to 21. That's terrific. Okay. But what if I wanted to keep going? What if I wanted to narrow again by adding in a coordinating class? I can do that too. Here I've got the and I'll simply tell the system coordinating class. I did CC. I click on that. And let's say I want to use the coordinating class 28 for toys or for surfboards, okay? So I'm doing Quantum Leap and I want to see all of the records that are related to class 28, right? That's related in that they are in the coordinated classes. So I will go ahead and select, type in my class number. I know it's 028. I will hit on the toys and sporting good option that pops up and I hit build again. And my search string, now look at this. I'm looking like a real expert, right? My search string is really thorough. I'm going to hit search again and it drops down to 15. You see that? Wonderful. All right, let's pop back over to our slide deck for just a moment. We're going to go to slide deck, page 34. And we're going to do a hypothetical. Now, what if you wanted to conduct a clearance search before you apply to register a mark? Now, let's say you wanted to conduct a search of Goober, okay, for use in identifying surfboards. All right, I want you to hold that in your mind, and I'm going to take you back to our demonstration. I'm going to go ahead and clear out, reset everything here. All right. And let's go ahead and walk through this search together. Now notice I'm only conducting a search of one term here, but I think I want to stay using my field tags because I may want to narrow by narrowing to see only live marks or coordinating class. And I know if I want to search more than one thing at a time, field tags are the best way to do that. So I'm going to stay in expert and I'm going to stay using my field tags. So I'm going to go ahead and get my drop downs operating, select my field tag option. And now that I know how to use a search builder, I'm going to use that option. I'm going to select that. I'm going to type in CM because I want to start searching in the combined mark field. And I'm going to go ahead and use lowercase, adding Goober, spelling it in the traditional spelling. Okay. And then I'm going to click build so that it can pop that search term into the system. And I'll hit search because I want to stop right here. This is my dead on search strategy and I get 55 results. Fantastic. Okay. What you'll notice is that as you kind of slip through here, you see a lot of different Goober marks. Okay. Interesting. You might also see some marks that you kind of surprised that these marks are here. Let me see if I can find one for you. Look at this WG. Aren't you surprised that you see WG in a search for Goober? Why do you think that's there? Well, believe it or not, that particular pseudo mark field says, what a Goober. That's supposed to be an acronym, and that's why that pops up, because you searched in the combined mark field for Goober, so you're going to search that pseudo mark field. All right, let's go back up to the top where we were. And let's kind of expand our search out. We're going to add some external truncation on both ends, okay? I'm going to do that, and let's see what happens. I had 55 results. What happens? That expands to 72, okay? And then I could run through these. I would look through these to see what was applicable. And then maybe I might want to conduct a search thinking about some alternative spellings. Maybe that ER could be an OR or a UR. So maybe I'll put a question mark there to see what else I can find. And I'll go ahead and I'll put the question mark to replace the E. And we know that that's called internal truncation. We're looking for one character. I'll go ahead and hit the magnifying glass and I've got 77 results there. Not bad. All right, what else could I do? What if I'm ready now to narrow by looking at my live marks only? Well, let's go back to the search builder. I've got my and selected and I can simply do add the LD feature for live dead. Notice it's going to automatically default to live. Great. And I'm going to hit build and I've added to my search string. Now I've got Goober and live. I'll search that. I get 18 results. Fantastic. So I'm getting even better. Okay, wonderful. And then I can go ahead and add my coordinating class if I wanted to. Remember, we were talking about class 28 surfboards, so we'll add 028 as our option here. And notice that you've got to click on the toys and sporting goods when it pops up for you to have the option to click on the build option. Okay, so be sure you do that. Now I'm hitting on build and I'm now moving on to see an even longer search string. I've added the coordinating class 28. Fantastic. Okay, 8 results. All right, I think you get the gist of what I'm trying to show you here. I'll do one more. What if I wanted to search with international class? Okay, international class. I'm just going to type it in just for the time's sake. International class. One thing you want to remember when you're searching for an international class, we know the class is 28, but I'll tell you a trick or a tip really that I learned as an examining attorney. When you're searching in the international class just for one, you want to always add to your search string 035 to look for retail store services because you might find a mark that is being used to identify a store that sells surfboards, okay? So you want to pick that up. You want to look in 42, which was the original retail store classification. And you always want to look at your collective membership marks and certification marks. So that's what I would do, okay? And then I would hit my hourglass. Great. Let's do one more before we run out of time because you've been patiently working with me. Let's reset again. I'm going to reset. And let's say we wanted to search for 2 terms. Okay, the mark is happy day. What will we do? We go straight to the field tag option. We use our search builder. And we can go in and put in combined mark. And we can search. We'll use our quotations, right? Happy day, because quotations work. We're going to do a dead-on search. Ooh, did it not like that? It did not like that. No, it didn't. I'm going to use my quotations in this manner, okay? If I put in my quotations like this, I want to make sure you see it. I've got CM colon happy day, and I'm telling the system to search for happy day. 2 terms, I can use that to find 2-term mark and get an accurate search. 76 results for happy day. Great. Now, if I wanted to also add in maybe a coordinating class or something, do the same thing, CC, and maybe add in my 028 sporting goods build, and I'm adding more. Notice my search results change again. But what if I wanted to maybe search those multiple lines? Okay, I'm keeping my right eye on the clock. I see we're running out of time, but I want to just show you a few more things. Okay, what if I wanted to search multiple lines? I don't think I've shown you this yet. If I wanted to do CM happy, I could do that, searching there. And I could do CM, clearing that out, day, searching there. I could clear that out, and look what I can do next. In the expert mode, using field tags, I can look at lines. So how did I do that? I can click on the search bar, and I'll see some different lines of my search. I noticed that line 4 showed a search for CM day, looking for day in the combined mark field. And then I see happy in the combined mark field, so I can do 4 and 5 together. Okay. Oh. Now what did I do wrong here? It didn't like that either. Let's see.
I think you have to go capital letters, uppercase.
Did I not do that? After I said over and over what to do? My goodness. 4 and 5. Thanks, Jason.
Sure thing.
Okay. There we go. This is a good place to stop, right? I was doing great. We're going to stop right here. I hope that the information that we've shared today has been very helpful to you. As we move down to kind of, Jason can come on board. I think we probably don't even have time for many questions at this point. But the search takeaways, I'm going to leave this up so that you can see them. Our search takeaways here. Remembering that there are 2 modes to search, basic and expert. That if you want to search more than one term, you want to use your field tags in expert mode. Bear in mind when you're using your field tags that you cannot combine field tag searching with drop-down searching or with left side checkbox filters. Other tips that you can remember, use that 2-letter field tag before your search term. Use uppercase lettering for your field tags and operators. Use lowercase lettering for your search terms, and use your logical operators to combine your field tag searching and narrow your results. Make sure you're using those logical operators in uppercase lettering. Okay, we just saw that that's very important. Don't think we have much time for questions here.
We don't, so if you could go ahead and close this out and we'll take a quick break.
All right, Jason, thank you so much. Thank you, Christina, as well. So let me go ahead and thank Attorney Christina Calloway and Jason Lott for helping to answer questions that were submitted today. I want to draw your attention to just a few reminders as we go ahead and close out. At the end of this presentation, you're going to receive an email that contains the following: a link to a survey. It'll take you 3 to 4 minutes, I promise, to fill this out and share your feedback with us of what's working and what's not. You're also going to find a link to the presentation slides and the handout. My name is Marisa Terrell. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're curious about other U.S. Patent and Trademark Office events, go ahead and visit our webpage and type in events in the search bar. You can toggle over to trademarks to see all the things that we're up to. Thanks so much for joining us today.